All right, well, it's the night before Thanksgiving. It was nice 77 degrees here, and GoPro's been acting up. Didn't record some things, the usual, and I got most of everything, but you know how I feel on GoPros. They're not very good. But anyway, what I'm going to be working on today, really simple, is popping a hole in here for the steering column and give you a quick look of what it's going to look like, because I've already done it. So as you can see here, I've already popped the hole and I have made a nice little radius on here, and I'll show you how to do that. It's really pretty easy. Just do it out of scrap that I got laying around the shop. Okay, well, as you can see here, there is no hole for the steering column. And come around this side. As you can see, yep, no hole. We have a steering column, no hole. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to attach the upper plate up here. And I'm going to take the steering column, put it into place, and roughly figure out where it needs to go. And I will also take the old panel, which is right there, place that up there and draw a circle. But I don't count on that being perfect. Okay, so I've got my 2 bolts hanging down there. And there's my little upper bracket here. Put some carpet tape on there. And I'm just going to line it up around there and stick it into place. And there it is. That's how that's going to go. Now, I'm going to take my old piece, stick it up here, and you can see it's got some holes for other stuff that may or may not ever happen again on this car. We don't know. Now, this thing is kind of bent up, and I'm going to hold it as close as I can to where it needs to be, and I'm going to draw a circle. Luckily, I have a guide to draw a circle because I can't draw circles. And that's pretty much in the ballpark. And there we go. That's within a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, because our next step is that we're going to end up popping a hole in there just big enough for the actual steering shaft to come through. So as you can see, this kind of goes like that, and it goes there. So my next step is going to be, I'm going to drill a hole just, say, about here. Just a little bit bigger than the steering shaft, because I want the steering shaft to come through. And then I want it to come up here, and then figure out the diameter I need to go around the steering shaft to be all in line and in the correct place. All right, well, as you can see that we're kind of through the hole. Like I said, that was just a ballpark hole, but we're through it. And we're pretty much lining up pretty nicely. I don't know if you can see any of that at all, but that's pretty decent ballpark. So I'd snug it up a little more than I should have, so it won't move up and down right now. So I'll loosen it up, and we'll slide the column down around it and see what happens. Okay, well, I've kind of taken a slightly different direction on this, and this is the ring that holds the seal. I don't even remember what I filmed yesterday. It's kind of a mess. But anyway, you know, I've got that figured out there, so at least I got that ballpark. And then I put my panel up here again. I did it again. I marked where the 3 holes for this little guy go. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this to this side with screws. And the reason for that is that I'm going to go on the other side once this is on and mark my hole and do all my cutting from the Firewall side, since it's a lot more comfortable than under the dash. Okay, well, it's the next day again. Now, I've got this plate screwed on from the outside. I have 2 of these plates for some reason. But now the big question you're going to ask is, why did I go ahead and drill this hole? Well, the reason I drilled this hole and I put the column in here is because I've seen a lot of these cars where this thing is like way to the left, way to the right, too high, too low, and it looks really goofy. And I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be, you know, like over here or over there, you know, some goofy thing like that. Because I've seen factory cars that are off like that, and I just didn't want that to happen. So that's why I went ahead, drilled the hole, test fitted it, did all that. So what I will do now is I need to make a bigger hole in this, and then I need to flange that over. So, okay, I'm back from a hunting expedition. So, you know, the best way I would do this would be I would use a hydraulic hole punch. I'd put it in here and punch it out. I don't have one that size. I don't have a manual one that size. So when I did this, I just used a unibit, and I wasn't sure what size that was, and it's obviously 1 3/8. And this is close enough to the center. I'm good with it. It's fine. I think I am. But to do this is you just take your regular hole saw, you put this one, thread it inside, boom, there's your pilot, put it in there, drill your hole. And you know what? I can live with that. That'll work. Now the other solution B is if you don't have the right size, would be to put this, I was going to put this on top, put screws into this and hold that, and then that gives you a spot to drill your pilot. So that works if you just don't have anything that fits. It's oblong, whatever. Unfortunately, I actually had a brand new one of these hidden away that it would fit perfectly. So yeah, now I'll just drill that hole out. And then the next step is I have a jig that I've made that I'm going to put on here and clamp and press this piece to where it flanges out. At least that's the hope, if it works. All right, guys. Well, this is what I have made to make that little flange on that sheet metal kind of go like this little bit here, flange in. This won't be all of it. This is just to get it started. And to be honest, I'm sitting here looking at it. It's like, should I even bother? I'm probably not, but I made it and here I am. So basically this is just a hole. I routed a little radius here. I'm going to take this, bolt this onto the firewall. I made this little plug, which has been through a few different grindings, and doing that over here, you know, on the drill and on my homemade edge sander out of a Harbor Freight belt sander, which this is the best use of it. I've had that thing for 15 plus years. But anyway, the idea is to screw this to the firewall, and then I will put a plate here, probably a plate, possibly a plate here, and then run a bolt through, and then you know, into there. Like I said, if I could just get it started, that's good enough, because I can come back and do the rest of it. But I don't know how this is going to turn out. I should have actually drawn something and 3D printed one, and it would have just worked perfect. But this is faster, so we'll both see if this works or not. Okay, so there's my little wood piece, and I'm using a hole saw to back up on the inside, and I'm going to be using a larger hole saw to back up on the outside. Washers, nut, impact driver, and we'll see if it works. Oops. But you know what? I think it's good enough. I'm done farting with it. All right, well, I'll let you guys see what it looks like before I get to see it. Well, I'm not crawling under there just to film it. So, here's a really good up close. I'm good with that. I like it. All right, well, there we are, the finished product. Not too bad, nice radius to it. I still have a little bit of work to do on the welds up here and so forth, but that'll happen in the next video when the whole car flips over. Ow!